Warning. Some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing.
The Star Wars universe depicts adventures taking place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away across multiple eras in which humans and many species of aliens, often humanoid, coexist with robots usually referred to as droids, which may be programmed for personal assistance or battle. Space travel between planets is possibly due to light-speed hyperspace technology. The planets range from wealthy, planet-wide cities to deserts sparsely populated by primitive tribes. Spacecraft range from small starfighters to large capital ships, such as the Star Destroyers, as well as space stations such as the moon-sized Death Stars. Telecommunication includes two-way audio and audiovisual screens, holographic projections, and hyperspace transmission. The universe of Star Wars is generally similar to the real universe, but its laws of physics are less strict, allowing for more imaginative stories. The Force is a mysterious energy field created by life that binds the galaxy together. Harnessing the power of the Force gives the Sith, and others sensitive to this spiritual energy, extraordinary abilities, such as levitating objects, tricking minds, and seeing things before they happen. While the Force can grant users powerful abilities, it also directs their actions, and it has a will of its own, which both scholars and mystics have spent millennia seeking to understand. The powers are wielded by two major knightly orders at conflict with each other: the Jedi, peacekeepers of the Galactic Republic, who act on the light side of the Force through non-attachment and arbitration, and the Sith, who use the dark side by manipulating fear and aggression. While Jedi Knights can be numerous, the Dark Lords of the Sith, or Darths, are intended to be limited to two: a master and their apprentice. The Sith were believed extinct, but they had survived in secret. To prevent infighting and preserve the order, the Sith Lord Darth Bane introduced the rule of two, limiting the Sith ranks to a master and an apprentice. For nearly a millennium, the Sith remained in hiding as corruption and complacence ate away at the Republic and the Jedi. Seeing the balance of the Force tipping toward the dark side, Darth Sidious plotted to resurrect the Sith. In his guise as Senator Palpatine, he rose to become Chancellor of the Republic, engineered the Separatist movement and the Clone Wars, and convinced the Jedi to abandon their traditional roles and become generals of a vast clone army, which had been secretly created to bring about their downfall. Sidious used the dark side of the Force to cloud the Jedi's perceptions as he consolidated galactic power and wove a trap for his enemies. When his identity was finally discovered, he issued Order 66 to his clones, who obediently turned their guns on the Jedi. Sidious had also seduced Anakin Skywalker, thought to be the chosen one destined to bring balance to the Force. Anakin fell to the dark side and became Darth Vader, helping his new master vanquish the Jedi. A triumphant Palpatine then declared himself Emperor of a new galactic order, an empire ruled in secret by the Sith. The Jedi are a noble order of protectors unified by their ability to tap into the power of the Force. The Jedi Order were the guardians of peace and justice in the Galactic Republic. The Jedi served the Republic for over 1,000 generations, acting as peacekeepers. The age of the Jedi would end, however, due to a nefarious plot by the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. The Sith are an ancient order of Force wielders devoted to the dark side. The Sith practice hate, deception, and greed. Notable for their red-bladed lightsabers, black dress, and use of their aggressive feelings, the Sith look to amass power at all costs. The evil Darth Sidious, along with his apprentice Darth Vader, achieved the Sith goal of galactic conquest after a millennia of plotting. Anakin Skywalker. He and his mother Shmi were slaves owned by the junk dealer Watto on Tatooine. Discovered by Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker had the potential to become one of the most powerful Jedi ever. Some even believed he was the prophesied chosen one who would bring balance to the Force. Always pushing the limits of his Jedi training, seeking to excel and live up to his reputation, Skywalker's passion often brought him into conflict with his mentor, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. A hero of the Clone Wars, Anakin was caring and compassionate, but suffered from a deep fear of loss that would prove to be his downfall, eventually becoming Darth Vader. Darth Vader. Once the heroic Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, after being seduced by the dark side of the Force. Forever scarred by his defeat on Mustafar, Vader was transformed into a cybernetically enhanced Sith Lord. At the dawn of the Empire, Vader led the Empire's eradication of the Jedi Order and the search for survivors. He remained in service of the Emperor, the evil Darth Sidious, for decades, enforcing his master's will and seeking to crush the Rebel Alliance and other detractors. But there was still good in him. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi dueling on Mustafar. A good-hearted Jedi and hero of the Clone Wars, he was considered one of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy. Anakin had broken the Order's code by secretly marrying Senator Padme Amidala. When he began to suffer visions that Padme would die in childbirth, Anakin sought a way to prevent this fate. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, a mentor to the young Jedi, claimed that the dark side was a pathway to this ability. He could stop people from dying with Sith power. At the same time, the Chancellor revealed that he himself was a Sith Lord, Darth Sidious, and would train Anakin. Confused and conflicted, Anakin ultimately succumbed to Sidious's temptations. Rechristened as Darth Vader, he became a newly baptized agent of evil. Sidious assumed the mantle of Emperor, and Vader helped the Empire destroy the Jedi Order. Without mercy, Anakin led a legion of clones into the Jedi Temple and personally killed both fully trained Jedi and novice younglings alike. On the lava planet Mustafar, where he had been sent to assassinate separatist leaders, Vader battled his former master and friend, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin fought with an aggressive ferocity, ignoring Obi-Wan's pleas to come to his senses. Ultimately, the Jedi Master bested the new Sith. Vader was left severely injured and burned on the banks of a lava river, filled with anger and hate. He was found by the Emperor and encased in frightening black armor that kept him alive, and given mechanical lungs that emitted an ominous breathing sound with his every step. Anakin Skywalker was no more. Vader quickly became a symbol of the Empire, serving as Palpatine's fearsome enforcer. He hunted down fugitive Jedi who had escaped Order 66, backed by the fearsome Inquisitorius. Vader's sudden arrival within the Imperial hierarchy gave rise to many rumors. Some high-ranking Imperials claimed he was a laboratory creation built to mimic the fallen separatist warlord General Grievous, while others whispered that he was a technologically augmented warrior schooled in the now forbidden arts of the Force. Only a few guessed the truth, that Vader was the reborn Jedi, Anakin Skywalker. Vader's fall to darkness was foreshadowed by the resurgence of his old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, about 10 years into the Empire's reign. Forced out of hiding, the former master and his fallen apprentice were reunited on Mapuzo. This time, it was Kenobi who was badly injured in the fight, suffering severe burns after being dragged through a wall of flame. However, Kenobi regained his health and his spiritual strength. When they clashed sabers not long after, Obi-Wan emerged victorious, leaving Vader with a shattered helmet and stoking his seething hatred once again. While the Inquisitors hunted other escaped Jedi as well as new Force-sensitive beings that might pose a threat to the Empire, Vader turned his attention to working with the ambitious and ruthless Grand Moff Tarkin to supervise construction of the Death Star and stamp out resistance to Imperial rule. Darth Vader and Ahsoka Tano. After the Grand Inquisitor's death, Vader became a more active participant in the hunt complete and tested on Jedha, he summoned Director Orson Krennic, instructing the Imperial that the superweapon was to remain a covert tool of destruction. Only when the time was right would its existence be revealed to the galaxy. When the plans for the Death Star were stolen, Vader would take action to clean up Krennic's mess, personally slaughtering a squad of rebel soldiers and leading the hunt for the data tapes. Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi aboard the Death Star. 19 years after his battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader remained the Empire's tyrannical hand. Upon the Rebel Alliance's theft of schematics for the Empire's ultimate weapon, the planet-sized Death Star, Vader led an attack on a suspected Rebel vessel, seeking to recover the stolen plans and find the location of the Rebel base. Meanwhile, Rebel leader Princess Leia hid the data tapes and a distress message inside the droid R2-D2, sending him to Tatooine in search of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Vader and his stormtroopers killed all aboard with the exception of the princess, opting to take her to the Death Star for interrogation. Leia proved able to resist a mind probe, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, having received R2's message, soon arrived with Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and C-3PO. Vader and Obi-Wan clashed one last time, with the Sith Lord striking down his former master. Luke, Leia, and the heroes were able to escape, but only because the Empire allowed it. Vader had placed a tracking device on their ship, which led the Empire to the Rebels' secret base. As the Death Star closed in, the Rebels mounted an attack, with Vader himself entering the fray in his TIE Advanced Starfighter. Streaming through the Death Star trench and about to finish off the last of the Rebels, Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing, Vader and his wingmen were attacked from behind by the Millennium Falcon. Ricocheted away from the Death Star and spun out of control, Vader was unable to stop Luke. The space station was destroyed, but Vader survived, and he flew into the far reaches of space. After the destruction of the Death Star, Darth Vader became obsessed with finding Luke Skywalker. He had dispatched probe droids across the galaxy, finally locating the Rebel base on the remote ice planet Hoth. Upon his arrival, the Rebels had already escaped, but he pursued Luke's friends with relentless fervor. With the Empire unable to secure the Millennium Falcon, Vader hired bounty hunters to track down the starship, and the deadly Boba Fett eventually set a trap for the heroes on Cloud City. Believing they had found sanctuary, Han, Leia, and company actually found Vader and the Empire waiting. Vader tortured Han in an effort to lure Luke to Bespin, and later had Solo frozen in carbonite. Finally, Luke, who had cut his Jedi training short to save his friends, arrived and dueled with Vader. The Sith Lord proved too powerful. He brutalized Luke with flying debris and eventually severed his right hand with his lightsaber. Seeking to bring Luke to the dark side, Vader revealed that he was Luke's father, a shock that rattled the young Jedi to the core. Rather than join Vader, Luke chose to fall into a deep abyss and survived. With the Empire looking to crush the Rebel Alliance once and for all, construction of a second Death Star commenced. Darth Vader and the Emperor were personally overseeing its completion, though Vader's master had another plan, to lure Luke Skywalker to the dark side of the Force. Vader and the Emperor waited for Luke to come to them, which he did. The young Jedi believed there was still good in his father and tried to turn him back to the light side. Vader was conflicted, but still brought Luke before the Dark Lord. The Emperor taunted and tempted Luke, leading to a final duel between Vader and his son. Giving in to his hate, Luke overpowered Vader, cutting off his hand, and was poised to deliver the killing blow. The Emperor commanded that Luke finish his father and join the dark side, but the young Jedi refused, opting instead to throw away his lightsaber. Enraged at this denial, the Emperor shot Force lightning into Luke, torturing him. Vader rose, the good in him awakened by his son's compassion, and destroyed the Emperor. While he had suffered fatal injuries from the Emperor's lightning, Vader's redeeming final act restored his consciousness to Anakin Skywalker, and he had one last moment with Luke before peacefully accepting his death. The suit. In the duel with his former master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin lost both of his legs, his one remaining organic arm, and suffered fourth-degree burns across what was left of his body that were severe enough to damage his internal organs. These injuries would have been fatal had it not been for the medical treatment Anakin received, the helmet being the most important part of his suit. The most apparent purpose it serves is to help Vader breathe, but it's far more complex than that. The helmet is made up of three parts: a protective neck gaiter, the primary mask, and the outer shell. The gaiter helps support Vader's neck, has a nutrient feeding tube, and this is also where his iconic and booming voice is processed and projected. The mask is the most intricate part of the helmet. This is where Vader's respiratory system lives, helping him intake and vent air to his sensitive lungs. The lenses aid Vader's weakened vision, calibrating colors to accommodate his damaged eyesight and enhancing his field of view. In addition to these more obvious features, the mask also pumps air and helps regulate Vader's body temperature. Finally, the shell of the helmet that gives Vader his iconic silhouette secures all the pieces together, magnetically locking this vital equipment into place. The rest of Vader's suit is mostly made up of protective materials to shield his fragile body. The black-ribbed garments he wears are made of multi-ply fabrics that cover his cybernetic limbs. Additionally, an armored breastplate covers his damaged chest, and a plastoid girdle that protects his abdominal organs. The obsidian suit features little other color aside from buttons on the control function panel that sits squarely below the breastplate and the system status belt that's secured around his waist. Both of these pieces of tech are used to monitor and regulate the vital systems featured in Vader's helmet that keep him alive. As for the specific functions of each button on his chest plate, that remains a mystery. The Dark Lord of the Sith suit would not be complete without his iconic sweeping black cloak. Appearances. David Prowse, a 6'6" bodybuilder and actor, portrayed Vader in the original trilogy, while James Earl Jones provided his voice in all of the films and some television series. Jones initially felt his role was too small to warrant recognition, and he chose to be uncredited in A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. He was finally credited in Return of the Jedi in 1983. Sebastian Shaw portrayed the unmasked Anakin in Return of the Jedi, as well as the character's spirit in the original release of that film. Shaw's likeness in this scene was eventually replaced with Hayden Christensen's in the 2004 DVD release. This attempt to tie the prequel and original trilogies together was one of the most controversial changes in a Star Wars re-release. Jake Lloyd played young Anakin in The Phantom Menace back in 1999, while Hayden Christensen portrayed him as a young adult in Attack of the Clones, 2002, and Revenge of the Sith, 2005. Christensen also played Anakin in post-2004 releases of Return of the Jedi and in the series Obi-Wan Kenobi, 2022, and Ahsoka, 2023. In the standalone film Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, 2016, Vader is portrayed by Spencer Wilding and Daniel Napros. Vader has also appeared in books, comics, and video games. He has become an iconic villain of cinema and pop culture. If you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.